Welcome to Behind the Frame, a podcast where I interview artists to understand more about their creative process and the art industry itself. On today, we have the lovely, young and talented Myles. Myles started art during lockdown and learned about his love and amazing talent. So Myles, how are you doing today?
So, kind of nervous, but
Yeah?
I'm ready for whatever questions you ask me.
Oh, perfect. Can you talk us through how you got into art?
So, actually, when I was around 6 years old, I was quite scared of art because I was quite bad at it. So then me and my mum, we tackled the fear by creating artwork every week and to try and not only tackle my fear, but become better and maybe even better than my peers.
Wow.
So then I would create an artwork every week for a few years, and then I went to fine arts school to get better at art.
Did you prefer fine art school to being at regular school?
Well, sometimes it seemed a bit boring. Yeah, it was just very lethargic. And sometimes I would feel a bit bored because I've been working on the same artwork for months and months, sometimes even over half a year. And sometimes I get really bored, and then sometimes I just wouldn't want to go to fine art school. But my mum kept pushing and saying, "You've got to go because you might be able to finish your artwork soon. You might be able to make a difference." And then every single time I went back, I set myself a goal saying, I want to finish this beak, or I want to varnish it, or I'd try and set myself just a tiny goal to complete, which helped me carry on in some of the bigger paintings.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the process of doing the painting?
Yeah, I did. Well, at the start, sometimes I do like a charcoal sketch, and that's always really fun because I get to refer to a picture, draw, do loads of shading. But then I get really excited when I start painting because I get to cover all of the charcoal with paint. But then doing the end, the excitement kind of fades because it's doing more and more details, which are more time consuming, I say.
Yeah. How do you tackle that? I feel like the excitement's fading and you know you have to finish a piece, but you're not really feeling very motivated. What's something that's going to keep you motivated?
Well, actually, sometimes I just take a break, and then in the art studio, there's some fidget toys, and I just play with that for a bit, take a break, and then in that break, I can set my goals like, oh, after this break, I want to do more feathers or define the nose a bit more, and I just focus on those things.
Yeah, and then doing the small things makes you finally get to the big thing. We're talking about the parrot, aren't we?
Yeah.
That you painted. I absolutely loved that painting. I loved how they had the feathers were like different colors. Some were lighter than the other.
Yeah.
Did that one, like, when did you realize I really want to do animals?
Well, actually, there's some pictures in the studio, and some other people were also drawing animals. So I really liked, first of all, I did a panda. I really liked how it contrasted with the black and white. And also the parrot because it was so vibrant.
Yeah.
But it was really surprising how I created it because one of my teachers said, you have to make it dark before you make it light. So for a panda, the skin was all black. And then we have to layer on white until you can't see the black anymore, just for the detail. So every few hours I'd change the color. So 1 hour I would be having this dark grey, and I just add a bit more white every single time, just layering it on.
That must have taken a while to get the white all the way in there.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed seeing the final product and
Very satisfying getting like a pure white and just putting it on because I know it's like the last layer and I want it to be best layer.
I can imagine. When you started showing your artworks to friends and family and you were getting their reactions, how did it make you feel?
Well, actually, I brought my panda in at school, and everyone was so surprised because they've never seen me actually do art or spend so much time on an art piece. And everyone was like almost worshipping me. And that gave me a lot of courage to do even more art. And also that gave me even more motivation to complete art not just quickly, but even just better, because I want to impress my friends and family, myself even more.
It's really brave of you. I could never imagine, like, even now presenting something that I've spent so much time on, and because you really love the pieces that you're doing. I know that you say that you like to keep the actual pieces that you create and just sell the prints, but I think it's a really good idea. You spent so much time on them.
Yeah.
You might as well keep them. Do you have a most memorable moment? Because I know you did an exhibition in this gallery house.
Yeah.
And what was that like? Did you have a memorable moment from that time?
There's just one moment where loads of my friends came, lots of my family, and it was full of mixed feelings, because I was a bit nervous because I didn't know how they'd react, and also a tiny bit excited. And I was just really excited to see my friends come, see what they thought, because there are loads of artworks that even they hadn't seen.
Wow.
And I also had my art teacher come in. I was worried that he might be very judgmental, but yeah, he was very nice, and yeah, that was very motivational for me.
I can imagine he was quite proud to see
Yeah.
your drawings all the way from the beginning to now.
Yeah.
I feel like it was such a clever exhibition to do, and it's really interesting to see your process and
Yeah.
how you've changed. And I was looking at these pieces and I noticed you do a lot of different styles, and I found it really interesting because you're so talented at all of these styles. Do you have a favorite style at the moment that you're enjoying?
Well, actually, I'm still exploring. So let's say, even now, every 2 3 months I swap the style. So a few months ago I did painting portraits, also charcoal portraits, as well as still lifes where I'm drawing flowers in front of me, as well as landscapes using impressionism, and also using mixed media art. So right now I'm doing a cubist art, like cubist faces.
Yeah.
But making it mixed media form, adding fabrics to the faces on a canvas, and I'm finding that very interesting.
That sounds really cool. This painting here, you've told me it's one of your favorites that you've done.
Yeah.
I love it. What is the story behind it?
So actually, I used to be obsessed with a movie called Floated Away.
Yes.
Actually, I'm still obsessed with it, but and there's this really beautiful scene which was painted, which was the train going uh from the bathhouse outside, and it was really beautiful. So I took a photo, went online, got a photo of it, and tried to paint it. But it was actually a lot more difficult than I thought, because there are loads of ways where I had to think outside of a box. For example, with the clouds, I had to use a sponge to try and layer it. And I literally had this big palette, and there were like 50 different pinks, and array from pink to white. And I'd have to like do the dab it on each time, changing sponges.
Wow.
It was really,
That sounds quite complicated. With
yeah.
all of those shades of the same color and deciding that it works beautifully and it's created this
Yeah.
stunning picture. So this was all done by paint and you said you've used sponge. Is that the typical process for one of your works?
Well, no, but I don't think it really is a cool process, because let's say my Nine Faces artwork, I used a paint tube, and literally just squeezed paint blobs onto the artwork, and then it'll create this 3D almost pyramid, and then there'd be loads of them to create a colourful scene, and then that'd be one of my techniques. I've tried and experimented using sponge a bit, but I don't use it that often. But then also, sometimes I do stone carving at my school.
Wow.
And then I also do quite a lot of clay, and I tried doing etching, where you'd have to get your drawing, copy it onto a metal plate, and then one side of a plate has got like an acid-proof coating, the other one doesn't. And then basically, you'd etch it on using like a scalpel almost, and then you'd dip in acid to like define all the etches and the cavities, and then I'd roll it with paint, and then put it through a roller, and then it'd make a print.
Wow, that sounds really cool, actually. I didn't know there was such a process to all of these paintings and all of these different works that you're creating. Um, so you said there's not a typical process. So when you get an idea, what's the first thing you decide to do? Do you decide how you want to create it? Like, are you going to do painting or charcoal?
Well, actually, most of my artworks, which I do in a fine art studio like this one, it starts with a bit charcoal base. So actually, I draw this all to scale, and then I make it so then it's good. Even if I didn't paint it, it would still look good in charcoal, which is like to that quality.
Yeah.
And then I will paint over it. So it's actually kind of sad because I've spent so much time on this charcoal. I don't want to say draft because it's still underneath it. There's a really detailed version of it, and I'm just painting over it. So actually, all of this was like a base coat, and then I just add more on top, loads of layers, and then I have to add a layer of this on top. So actually, this is the top layer, and then it goes there, and it slowly goes down.
I see. So
Yeah,
at one point,
Yeah.
this was all blue.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
blue.
How long did this one take you to do?
Well, actually, how long did this take me? I think 4 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, not the whole painting was blue, like these bits were blue. And then you can see there's a bit of a line there.
Oh, okay. So
Sort of sponge, we tried to fade it in, but
I didn't even notice. I thought it was part of the cloud. Wow. No, this piece is one of my favorites, most definitely. What's the bravest thing you've done with your art?
I'd say the bravest thing was actually sharing my art with my friends because I didn't really know what they expected of it, and I also showed my class friends, also my class teacher, and then all my teacher was so astonished, and he said, "Okay, you got to skip English, and you got to go to headmaster's office and show her." And then on the way, I went to show her, and then loads of other teachers were by complimenting me, and that gave me a lot of courage, I guess.
Yeah. No, most definitely. You must have felt really good that everyone's loving your work, and
Yeah.
it proves that even though you were scared of it, you
Yeah.
were really good at it.
Because I wouldn't say I was known for being bad at art earlier, but I was certainly not known for being good at it, let alone being in like an art club at school. But then after I started painting a lot, they realized, oh, he's actually getting a lot better. And then now everyone wants to sit next to me in art class.
Well, if this is you now, can you imagine how amazing your pieces are going to be in just 2 or 3 years' time if they're already at this level?
Well, I don't know, because I'm still exploring my style. I might, like, all of these skills might not even be useful for the style that I might pick later on in life. And I'm still exploring different forms. Like, I really want to do glass blowing, and
Wow, yeah.
I've always wanted to know how, like, sculptures made out of metal are made. And yeah, I guess I've got a lot more to explore.
No, definitely. You've got time to do it, and I'm sure you'll find stuff that you really enjoy doing. What's something that used to be hard for you, but through art you've now found a bit easier?
Actually, art is a very good example of that. So when I started art, I was actually very excited to do some art pieces because I wanted to try them out. And sometimes I was quite scared to do them because I thought, oh, they're so hard. I'm not sure if I can do it. But then now I just want to try, even if I don't think I can do it, I just try it, see if it works. And that's what I love about art because it's so free and creative. And now, because of that almost mindset, I'm doing a lot better than before.
Hmm. You're not afraid to make mistakes, which is good.
Actually, there are loads of mistakes. Like one point, the sponge was really wet, and they forgot to dry it. So when they put it on, it made the whole paper fold a bit, and then, like a big drop of water coming down. And I had to repaint this bit of a train a while, so had to dab it with sponges a lot to try and dry it off and then repaint it.
Do you think making mistakes is part of being an artist?
Yeah, I actually think having mistakes is fun because it makes it more exciting, but also it scares you a bit. It's almost like a roller coaster. You don't want it to be too boring, but you don't want it to slowly be going up. You want it to be going up and down.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I can imagine. You might learn or figure out a cool new thing from a mistake that you never even knew
Yeah.
you could do. What's your favorite piece you've created?
I'd say it's the Nine Faces artwork. Yeah. Because it's by far, well, not by far, it's one of my biggest pieces. And also, I love it because I created everything about it. It wasn't by photo or anything. It was all from my brain. So actually, I made it when I was in a cafe, and there was loads of lamps everywhere. So I got a napkin and started drawing lamps on the napkin. And then I drew some faces inside the lamps. And then I added a face underneath it. And then I kept on drafting until I loved it. And I told my mum, I want to put this on a canvas. So then my mom got me a canvas. I put it on, but then I realised it's only covering half of the canvas. So I rubbed everything out and put it only on the bottom half of the canvas, and then expanded it, adding a teapot, adding hair, adding eyes, and then I stepped back, squinted my eyes, and saw there's another person in the silhouette of it. So then I drew an eye there, and then there was another person born. And then I look at the outline and I see there's another person looking very sad outside with a big nose. So then I just draw that with eyes. And then again, I use a sponge to dab his hair on. And yeah, that's probably the artwork I like most.
It's quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, it's around that big,
Wow.
I'd say.
Yeah. It's
Thick,
interesting
yeah.
you managed to remember everything you wanted to put in over time, considering this is all your full creation,
Yeah.
It's cool that you've managed to keep that and how everything flows in that painting so well. Nothing looks like it's not supposed to be there.
Actually, none of it was supposed to be.
But it works so perfectly. It's absolutely brilliant. How do you come up with ideas? Do you feel like you just wait for things that you see, such as the lampshades, or does something ever just pop into your mind and you think, I need to do that?
Well, for example, sometimes I just squint my eyes at random objects. Like the other day, I was looking at some coat hangers. I squinted my eyes and I saw a person with a hat. I didn't get a chance to draw it though. Anyway, and now there's this technique I use where I look at objects, let's say a bottle, and I squint my eyes and just draw the outline. And then I turn it around, draw things inside it, outside it, maybe using a negative space, and trying to make the object not look like a water bottle, or make the object not look like an object, but make it look like something else. That kind of makes sense.
No, that's really interesting. You've got a very creative mind. When you see things and you're seeing objects and people and ideas are forming, it's really interesting and it's quite brilliant actually.
Thank you.
And what you create is so interesting and your process is absolutely fascinating. Do you think that you want to take art into the future?
I'll definitely take it into the future. Whether or not I'm taking it into a career, I might not. I like it, but I can't see myself doing it full time when I'm older.
Is there an impact you want to create from your art when people look at it and think about how you've created it?
Well, sometimes I want people to be amazed about how creative it is. Like in Nine Faces, it's like a maze almost. I'm looking for all the faces. But then again, I don't really have like a story I want to tell behind all of my artworks. They're all kind of separate because I'm still exploring about what I really want to do.
No, definitely. I'm really excited to see the next few pieces that you create and the next exhibition you put on, because I loved your last one. So that's been great. Thank you for coming on, Myles.
So, yeah, thank you.
Perfect. That was brilliant.